What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Figma My Hero Academia Izuku Midoriya, aka Deku. And here we have the Figma Midoriya pose and out of the packaging. Now, before we take a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at what Deku comes with. Deku does come with 3 different faceplates. We do get a smiling expression, which looks really good on the figure. We also do get an angry expression for when he's activating All for One. We also do get a worried expression, like somebody's yelling at him or he's just paranoid of what to do next, and those all look really good on him. He also does come with his little mask, which unfortunately doesn't fit on the face of any of these, but it does look good around the neck. He also does come with 7 hands. We get a pair of fists for Deku. We get a pair of grasping hands, which unfortunately he doesn't have anything to grab. We do get a pair of open palmed hands, which look really nice. And then we also do get a right hand where he's flicking his finger using his quirk, and those all look really good. And then finally we do get the Figma display stand. Now, unfortunately, that's all he comes with. If you did get the Good Smiley exclusive version, you did get the alternate head with the mask, which I don't have that one, unfortunately. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually move on to his details. And so here we have a closer look at Midoriya, and I have to say Figma has done an exceptional job with Deku here. He looks really nice, almost as if he jumped right out of the anime right into your hands. Really love the face on him. He looks really good. I love the fact that they got his freckles in there. So it's just a really nice looking figure. It's really hard to replicate how his hair actually looks because it's black with some green highlights. And I think Figma has done a really good job representing it here. There is some black in there and in parts of his hair, especially up here at the top, here in the front, and then on the back. So I think that's pretty good. You don't really need it all over the place because then it loses its green and you want it to show through. Really love how they did the face. The face is just done really well. I also like the costume. Now, this is the first costume for Deku. It's not his second costume, and it's not his Gamma costume, which I would really like to see an update for that. I know Revoltech's doing the Gamma costume, but maybe one day we'll get one. Of course, just like with all Figma figures, he does have a hole in his back for the display stand. Something I do like is that all the line work on him is sculpted on. It's not just painted, so Figma has gone out of their way to sculpt and paint the lines on the figure, so those look really nice. Really do like his gloves. Now, his hands do seem a little bit big, but that's pretty much how he looks in the anime and in the manga, so I really can't fault the figure for looking the way it does. Really do like these braces on his elbows. They look like elbow pads, and I don't know how they did it. It's like the top part is a soft rubber, but then the bottom part is a harder plastic. And like I said, that's just a really interesting design to me. But it actually functions really well. Again, we have some sculpted line work right here on his side, which is painted really nicely. Don't have too many issues with it. Really like the way his belt looks like a buckle. You can see he has his pouches right here on his side. Those look really cool. I do like the red belt. It complements the green really nicely. Going on to his legs, you can see his tracksuit continues with that really nice sculpt work right there. And then we get on to his knee braces. Now, they did have to cut out part of the braces just to get his knees to work, but it's one of those sacrifices which I'm perfectly okay with. It looks really nice. Going on to his boots, this is a really nice sculpt. I like the fact that they do appear to be hinged. I don't know if it's it's a separate piece, so it floats around so it gets out of the way if you needed to. And then of course the laces are sculpted really nicely, and we do have the white treads which have sculpting on the underside. That's really nice, and that's something you don't expect too much out of figures. So overall, really liking the way Deku here looks, and I think he's a really good size for the character. So what we're going to do now is have a closer look and compare him to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Deku posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Deku posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Deku posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. Here we have Deku posed next to an SH Figuarts Goku and a Figma Inkling Girl. And finally, here we have Deku posed next to the Figma Bakugo. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at Deku's articulation. Now, he does have a Figma joint in the neck, so we do get some really nice tilt side to side with the figure. We get some slight upwards movement, some downwards movement. Now, do be aware that if you have his collar on, you do lose range and movement, so be advised, if you want full range, you do have to keep his collar off. We do have left and right swivel, so that works really good. We have a ball and socket going into the shoulder, so that can drop down. It does move up, does pivot forward and back slightly, so it is a really nice joint, and I do like seeing that. We do have full rotation at the arm, no problem. Goes out to about that far, which is better than horizontal. It does swivel up here at the shoulder. And if you're not a fan of the shoulder swivel, he does swivel down here at the elbow. And we do have a Figma joint, which unfortunately, because of his elbow pad, doesn't give us better than 90 degrees, but it does work. So I do like that. And of course, like I said, it does swivel. We do have a swivel hinge here at the wrist, so we do have upwards movement. We can rotate that joint, so we have in and out movement. And of course, his fist does rotate on that peg as well. We also do have a Figma joint here at his torso, so he doesn't really lean back all too much, unfortunately, but he does lean forward to about there. Does he lean side to side? Nope, but we do have rotation. We have a ball joint down here, and that's mainly where you're going to get most of his movement, so it does lean side to side, goes forward to about there, goes back to about there, and if you want it, you can move this piece up. His crotch piece is a floating piece, so you can move that up. You want to move it up, especially when moving his legs, because it does impede articulation. His legs do kick forward to about there. They do kick back only to about there, unfortunately. Go out to the side, just there. Now, I have noticed that if you kick his torso off to one side, you can get better range in one hip. And depending on what side you have him leaning to, depends on how much better range you get in the opposite leg. So if you have him leaning to the right, you get better outwards movement with the left leg and vice versa. We do have a swivel up high and that hip joint, so that works fine. We do have rotation right here at his knee bracer. We also do have a double joint in the knee, but unfortunately, you can see it's kind of bulky, so it does get in the way of itself, which is unfortunate. We do have rotation down here at the boot. We have a hinge in the ankle, which goes back and forward, which works really nicely. Very generous rocker ankle, so that works perfectly. And then, of course, we do have a toe hinge. So everything you'd expect from a Figma figure is here, and Deku has no restrictions, so I do like that. Well, no restrictions other than his knee braces and his elbow bracers. But other than that, he's a really nice little figure. So what we're going to do now is take a little break, get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Figma Midoriya posed for my final thoughts, and overall I really love the way this figure came out. I really do enjoy watching My Hero Academia, and having a Deku in my collection is something I really wanted ever since I started getting into the line. So I am grateful that Figma did end up re-releasing Deku. I remember secondhand prices for him were going up all the way to $300, so that was pretty outrageous for this guy. Thankfully, again, Good Smile Company was fortunate enough to release it to us one more time, and that's how I pretty much have him in hand. This is of course the second run for Deku, so if you missed out on him the first time, you can pick him up now from places like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. I actually picked up my Deku from Big Bad Toy Store, and he did cost about $80. Now, seeing as how he really doesn't come with too much, that's quite a bit to pay for a figure. I would have liked to see Figma throw in some more accessories, like maybe some attachments to show off his quirk is activating. But overall, I still like the way the figure came out. The paint is really clean on him. I do like the different expressions that he does come with. Again, the only thing I think he needed was effects for his one-for-all quirk, so that's one thing I hope that we get to see at some point, is a Deku figure that has pieces for one-for-all and his quirk. So overall, I do recommend this figure if you're a fan of My Hero Academia and you want a Deku in your collection. This is probably one of the better figures to get. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other Figma figures. Hopefully you find them enjoyable. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.